Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Daily High with your hosts, Matt McGregor and Tone Vase. Good morning, Tone. How are you, mate? Another day, another high.
Yeah, morning. I'm good. Let me make sure we are streaming, and it looks like we are streaming. That is right. It is another day, another high. We're gonna talk about that, and I have had an awesome last 24 hours, as you guys can see from the background of my video right now. I know I'm not on the big screen, I'm only on a quarter screen, so shout out to Ocean Builders. And I'm going to do a podcast with them, with two of the founders of Ocean Builders in about an hour and a half. So tune into the Tone Base YouTube channel as we discuss another founder. His name is Rudy, who has been living underwater for a while. He's going for the world record. It was going to be 101 days, but they want to be sure to cover like military and submarines. So he's going for 120 days, living 11 meters underwater.
Are you going to have Rudy on your show in an hour and a half, or are they going to just talk about him?
No, I'm gonna go down to where he's is living,
No.
11 meters underwater into his where he's living, and we're gonna do an interview there.
Oh, wow. Well, let's keep this show brief because that sounds way more interesting. But the price is still up, so let's crack in. I'll go first as
All right, go for it, and then I'll yeah, I'm just gonna enjoy my seat. Oh, you also saw the bed behind me. That's literally where I was sleeping last night. Normally you put the bed away, but I figured it would be kind of cool for the stream. And then at the end of the show, actually, no, I'll do it now.
do it
Here,
now.
here's where so that was my bed, and here's the inside. And then there's a bedroom around the corner. So that's Grant's bedroom, who lives in this pod 24/7. He's been living here for like a year now. And this is the view, and it's got like whole all around access. And absolutely awesome. Got solar panels. That's how they get power. And collecting rainwater. It's great. All right, go for it. We'll go with the charts. I'll reset my camera.
Crazy, mate. What a lifestyle you live. Let's go into the charts. All right, so I'm going to start on the 15-minute time frame because I I mean the show I did last night. Forgive me for having nothing to say, and I'm still getting comments like, oh, I wish I could just skip the Aussie guy. Like I don't even have a fucking name, right? But like the thing that I said last night, it was crazy good, right? Like I mean, I pointed out exactly where I was entering the trade, and it was at the price when we were doing the show. Like it was like $50 higher than the entry price. And so I'm just going through it again. I mentioned that this was the easiest trade. I said this is the easiest trade I could possibly ever make because we had a 3% drawdown off an all-time high. We put in a low, we put in a higher low, and I went balls deep 10x long. I said it was the easiest trade ever to make because I can very easily either set a stop loss conservatively slightly below the second low, or I can be real conservative and just use less leverage. That's a decent amount move, to be honest, with 10x leverage. But I'd already just made a heap of money on the previous week, so I could risk that kind of that gap, right? And I just thought that was a killer trade. And then, holy shoot, like 30 minutes after we did the show, we were already out breaking all-time highs, and I looked really good on making that call, but no one will ever say it, but it was a damn fine call. So I'm still in that trade from 104.055, and once again, we're back in a spot where I can really, really clearly set a stop loss. I mean, I'll just close the trade if we get below 106, 500, somewhere down here. And then otherwise, I'll just sit in this trade and keep moving that stop loss up as we trail the price. 15-minute looks fantastic. Now I have to go into my normal spiel of like, I don't know what else to say, right? 4-hour time frame. So skip along now if you want to. But let's just review. Once again, I really like where this 4-hour candle opened. Obviously, well, I mean, this closed on a bit of a little hammer thing or whatever, but then we came back down, and this has risen in the last hour, but this came back in real time and touched exactly on the 7 simple moving average. We're staying above all the moving averages. It didn't go below it at all. It touched exactly on it. You can use the replay function to check that, and now it's kicking back off again. As it stands, the 4-hour looks brilliant. nothing to worry about. And that's sort of where I put that stop loss in, because if we started to fade, and I would just close that trade out in an absolute cracking trade and look to re-enter and just rinse and repeat over and over again. There's nothing on the 4 hour that concerns me at all as it stands right now. We just have to review it in real time. The 12 hour I opened earlier, just before, as I was setting up the show, which I really liked once again. As the MRI loads, 5, 4, 3. We're not even deep into the MRI count, right? Like we're a little overextended from the 7 simple moving average. It makes total sense that we would come back and retest it. We're always, as I always say, slightly above or slightly below it. And people hate when I say that, but I don't know why. I mean, even when you look on this move here, the Kraken move we had back on the 4th, where we scooted very, very far above the 7 simple moving average. Well, we came back, didn't we? And then again and again and again, we're always around it. So from a reversion to the mean type of deal on the 12 hour, just looking at it now, I would say that at some point we're going to come back and retest it. Now, that this doesn't mean we have to do it in this candle. It doesn't mean in the next candle, but it might even catch up and it's the same price as it is right now. But I wouldn't enter trades this far above the moving average, and not unless it was just a little scalp trade. I want to set up as we're coming back over it again and respecting it like that. All right, daily time frame. Once again, above all the moving averages. The MRI count is fine. Nothing to say. Just looking at no, it's none of the oscillators. And that's me for the day. I haven't got anything else. I don't want to just keep saying it's the same thing over and over. This kind of mood we're in right now, when we can just keep kicking higher and higher and higher, there's nothing to do. You should already be in and just enjoying the movement. Please check out this great deposit bonus we have on Blowfin right now. We also have, I have to get the little picture up, but a fantastic deposit bonus on BitGet as well. Just the two exchanges that I really, really like. As I mentioned in the previous show, we're 2 for 2 on the MRI swing bot, which is just really, I really, really think that this is for the bot for these conditions. Do you know this is the bot for these conditions? Last night was another absolute cracking trade, and what more can you want from the first 2 trades since launching? 2 back-to-back winners, and I think that that'll just continue. There's a bit more breadth in this bot. So go ahead, links in the description below as I come off screen share Tone. All those links in the description below. Free trading bot. Go ahead and check out the bot that was inspired by Tone Vase. Please like, subscribe, and blah, 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 blah. Tone, what are you seeing, mate? Anything different to me?
Awesome. Yeah, no, I'm gonna have a little bit to say, and actually, Elon's Starlink went out while you were speaking, but I was able to reset. So hopefully there wasn't any interruption from your side.
No.
Wow, so many people in the audience. Jimmy G, shout out. I gotta give you a call actually. Zone Capone, welcome. Seen you in the chat in a while, and of course, Planet Musk, and our moderators from my channel. It's hard, and I want to say hi to so many people. We got so many regulars now.
Planet Musk is the nicest guy. I've never met him, obviously, but the comments he leaves are really terrific. In it, thank you,
Yeah.
mate. Well done.
If you come to the Maldives, you'll probably meet him.
No, no way. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Great.
He's been to one before. He's been to a financial summit before. Okay, let's go to the charts. All right. In case people are wondering where I am, follow Ocean_Builders on Instagram and Twitter. Ocean Builders without the underscore on Twitter. Okay. Long-term view. Long-term view looks very, very strong. We are on pace for 120 on the monthly chart. Weekly chart. This candle needs to properly reset. Weekly chart continues to go up and up and up without a proper pullback. So I believe the pullback is coming. But for the moment, we are bullish. As you can see, the price is sitting at 107,000. Now, what about my allocation? This is I guess, the important part for a lot of people. Because my tweet still says, my pinned tweet, we are on, let me just make sure that I'm on, yeah. My pinned tweet says that I exited at 97.8. In reality, I am fully 100% long. In fact, I am super leveraged long, but up to a point. It's hard for me to explain my trade, but I will tell you guys this. my maximum profit on my trade, which is probably 10% on my portfolio or something like that, 10 or
Damn, really?
15% on my portfolio.
Right.
Are you good?
Yeah, mate, that's a big trade.
Okay. Um, but it's a maximum profit only if we close the week at 106,000. If we go above 106,000, I now start to bleed away a lot of that profit. If we fall below 100K, I also bleed away a chunk of that profit. So my profit is really between 100K and 106, but only at 106 do I make like 15% on my account. And at 100, I'll make like maybe 8-9%. But that's in about a week's time, or like it's a complicated options trade.
Yeah,
So
mate, that is so complicated because not only do you have to pick the directional correctly, so let's just call that a 50-50 coin toss,
yeah,
but then you also need it to stay at a certain point as well. So there's moving parts to the
right.
options trade, which makes it complex. It's like a what do they call them when you gamble? It's called like a there's a word for it, where it's like a you want the team to win, but only by a certain amount of points or whatever. I don't
Yeah,
know,
with the
gamble, but
spread. Yeah. You
spread,
want it to
right?
win, but you want to win it by a certain amount. Yeah, or you
Right,
don't care if they lose as long as they don't lose worse than X. Yeah.
right.
Uh, so so what I'm betting on, I have a bet that IBIT, whose max pain has moved up to 55, closes the week below $60. $60 is approximately 106 on Bitcoin. So I'm placing a bet that IBIT will not close above 60. The closer we close to 60, the more money I make. Once we go over 60, my trade starts to bleed. Once we go below 55, my trade also starts to bleed. So anywhere between these two, the closer to 60, the better. Uh, uh, if you don't know how to trade options, you won't understand what I did. Those that want to trade options, I have a really good course, option trading, mastering options. Just go to tonebase.com, product services, on-demand videos. Okay, so what can we say about the charts? This is the daily chart. We are on extension B, which gives me another reason to be a little concerned that the move to the upside could be taking a bit of a pause. We've also gone up quite a bit without any significant pullback whatsoever. We are now grossly overextended on the 20-period moving average. So we can see how bad that has been in the past. So this was when I originally exited, and we were extended by about 17% at the peak. Let me do this. Right. And back here, we were extended beyond that. That's a bigger extension. That's all the way 25%. So where are we now? It's not that bad, actually, compared to the rest. It looks like we're only about 10% extended, which is still, noteworthy. Not as high, but it can be. So also, you see my target at 110,000 coming in this weekend. So even though we could hit 110,000, I'm still placing a bet that we're going to get there next week, not this week. And even if we go a little higher to like 108 and we make another all-time high today, tomorrow, that by Friday, we're going to pull back to 106.
John, you
That if
don't
we
think? Can
don't,
you go back to that chart, mate? I'm sorry,
yeah,
because you've only got one monitor, you can't see me with me fucking hand up. But look, those the down pullback arrows you've got put in there, you don't you don't think that's going to happen, do you? You're not making that kind of call.
no, I'm not. It's going to happen eventually. I don't think it's going to happen now.
No.
So I'm going to do this.
Okay,
Something like this is more likely.
better.
And then either way, I think we're going to that trend line, right? Trend line, or maybe I can make this trend line a little more vertical, though that would be very challenging. I can't do it. So trend line or the 128 day. Like with this area is getting hit. Maybe it'll take, maybe it won't be as bad, but this would be bad on its own. So this blue line is actually troublesome because it would create a double bottom, and I don't want that. I'd rather go like this. So we'll see. For the moment, I'm still bullish into the daily MRI top, even though my trade is against this happening. As weird as it sounds, my trade, the MRI says, well, the MRI doesn't say what price we're going to hit. The MRI just says we're going to keep going up 4 more days. But my trade says we're already higher than we should close on Friday. So maybe we do both. Maybe we go up and make a high on Wednesday or Thursday and then pull back into Friday, Saturday. So we'll see. I'm going to leave it like this for now. I don't think we're going to break 110. So I'm going to lower this arrow a smidge. Something like that. And that puts us into, yeah, something like that. So this is kind of what I'm thinking. Maybe this pullback wouldn't even be that bad. Something like that. But a proper pullback is coming. All right, any more questions? I'm going to glance at traditional markets.
No, I'm just really eyeballing the 108, which I mentioned in last night's show, which was the target for this trade, and I still think that that's happening maybe today.
Let me refresh my live chat here because I lost live chat connection. Okay. So I got some sun glare here. Oh, guys, don't forget, we have later this week, we will have the FOMC meeting. Or is it tomorrow? Or is it what's today's date? Tuesday?
Don't ask me. I
What,
don't work.
what's today?
Every
17?
day's Saturday for me, dude.
I'm living on the water for now. But yeah, so it's tomorrow. So we have the FOMC tomorrow. I should try to do a show with Mark Wood for FOMC. So yeah, so that's interesting. And look, they're expecting to lower the interest rate again, which is also super interesting. So keep that in mind as well. If they don't lower the interest rate, markets are going to crash, and that probably includes Bitcoin, because the market has made a full-blown bet that the interest rate is going to be lowered. So even if they lower it, that's in line with expectations. And if they choose not to lower it, the markets are going to take a massive dip. So the chances that the markets rise tomorrow, when there's a 98% chance that they're going to lower the rate, is actually low. Just keep that in mind as well. Okay. Short-term chart. This is actually bullish. If we get a green star on the 1 hour chart, that is very, very bullish on the 1 hour. And the 4 hour, let's see what the 4 hour, this might be close to an MRI top here. Yeah. So the 4 hour tops later today. So this could
the
be,
last one was good.
yeah, this could potentially be it. So we have 2 more hours. So yeah, so later today, this evening, the 4 hour is going to top. So keep that in mind. That's the last time the 4 hour topped. It wasn't a massive drop, but we still dropped, a few $1,000. And if you count from the top,
3%.
the total drop was 3,000. So let's extend that to this top. It's here. And if I use this top, it goes back to about 104, maybe a little bit higher than that. Okay, back to this moving average. So that is very, very possible from the 4 hour top that's coming later today around market close. So it's 10 hours from now, which would be end of day candle. So that's another reason to be a little concerned. But I would love to see a proper MRI top come in this weekend. If we go up into the MRI top at 109, 110, that is definitely a take profit situation. Wait a couple of days and then get back in if it's still going higher. Okay. And traditional markets, gold is pulling back. That's interesting. Bitcoin is not pulling back, but gold is. They're usually a little more correlated than that. Oil is not doing anything interesting. And the S&P, that's a 5-minute chart,
5 minutes.
and we're not trading right now. So let's go to the daily S&P. We had a good day. S&P is consolidating, getting ready to break out. That's a very bullish sign.
Yeah.
We can get a green star candle on a daily S&P tomorrow. That's a bullish sign for the S&P and very bullish for Bitcoin. But look at the weekly. In 2 weeks, the S&P is going to top. So keep that in mind as well. That the weekly, what about the weekly Bitcoin chart? See, the weekly Bitcoin chart still has over a month to go, but the S&P is set to top in 2 weeks. So be very, very aware of that. And that's about it. I am keeping an eye on. IBIT is set to open at 61, and I still have a bet that, well, my trading account, like I said, I'm expecting us to close just below 60 on Friday afternoon. All right, and this is it for me. Oh no, one last thing. ETFs. Let's see how many Bitcoins were purchased by the ETFs. I'm waiting for Fidelity to flip Grayscale, and
A
it's
lot.
almost there. We are 1,500 Bitcoin away from Fidelity flipping Grayscale. That's likely to happen this week. And mini Grayscale, oh, I think it's going to flip bitwise, but it may take a little while, longer than a couple of weeks. But I think it'll do it. So another 6,000 Bitcoin purchased on Monday, and if today's a bullish day, that could be it for Fidelity flipping Grayscale, which would be awesome. Okay. On that note, I am pretty much done. One last look, guys, at where I am. I am sitting on this pod right here. There's a couple of them. I'm going to the other one. I'm going to this one. This is the underwater room, by the way. So this is, I'm going to interview Rudy, who's right here. And wow, look at that rainbow. And yep, that's him right here. We're going to be doing an interview, hopefully, right in front of this window so you can see all the fish. So that's what I'm planning to do at 9:30 on the Tone Vase YouTube channel. So it's going to be super fun. Follow Ocean Builders on Instagram and Twitter. All right.
Yeah, that's great, mate. That's
And
great.
then behind me is my bed. I was sleeping on this balcony last night.
You're a diver now. You should just go on the outside and swim down to the window. Do the show from
I
that side.
am gonna. I'm probably gonna do that as well. I don't think I can free dive 11 meters.
Sure you
I
can.
haven't learned proper free diving skills. But I think if they have like a mask, I think they have a mask and an air hose. So I'm gonna try. They'll take pictures of me. I'm gonna try to clean the window and be toned the underwater window cleaner.
Just hold a rock in your hand on the way down, and then
Yeah.
you'll be fine. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining. We'll see you the same time tomorrow. Happy Bitcoin all-time high. Thanks for joining.
Bye, guys.